Assalamualaikum everyone. We're back again with another podcast with another brilliantly special guest. I just met him now, but I
Thank
can
you.
feel this is gonna be a good one. Okay, so I'm gonna introduce you to my guest, and today the topic is a subconscious mind. Everything to do with subconscious mind. So I'd like to welcome you to this podcast, Rahim. Can I call you Rahim?
Yes.
Yes, Rahim. Okay. So can you just give a little background of what you do, who you are?
Thank you, Nadia, for having me. So basically, what I do, I call myself a life coach and mindset coach. I'm a certified hypnotherapist. And before you go,
Where's your
yeah, where's my, pendulum? So
pendulum?
there's a lot of misconception about what I do as a hypnotherapist. So the idea of hypnotherapy is I get my clients into a state where they can access the deepest parts of their mind, which leads to self-sabotaging habits. Because everyone has self-sabotaging behaviors,
For
right?
sure.
Be it procrastination, be it gambling,
Yeah, all this.
excessive
Right?
eating habits,
Oh,
all these
okay.
kind of things.
Mhm.
We all know. Everyone's aware of their self-sabotaging habits.
Yeah.
You might not even be aware of some, but there are some habits that we tend to tell ourselves every year that we want to change.
And we hate
during
it.
New
We
Year,
know we
right?
don't like it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yet
Mm-hmm.
we
Yet we tend to
cannot get out
keep
of
doing it. We tend to
Continue.
procrastinate. We tend to, you know what they call doom scrolling? Like
Doom
doom scrolling. It's like every night every day I would tell myself I'm gonna sleep early tonight,
Oh my god.
and then you end up on your sofa, on your bed, just scrolling through social media mindlessly, and you tell yourself, "Oh, another half an hour,"
Oh my
and next
god,
thing
I
you
do
know,
that.
it's 5 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you regret again. You
Yeah.
didn't get enough sleep. You need to go to work. So the cycle happens. So just while we're at the topic of subconscious mind, okay? So there's this. So subconscious mind is basically that part of the mind which automates our habit. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, because there's two, conscious and
Automate is the word, right?
yeah,
It
yeah.
just
So
auto.
automatic. So humans are automatic.
Yeah.
Human beings, right? So
Yes.
whereas conscious is something like if I ask you, okay, Nadia, where do you want to be in 5 years?
Okay.
So you have
So I
to
have to
think
think about
consciously
it.
because it's not a subconscious thing,
Like I
right?
calculate, this is what I want, or like this. How am I gonna do it? Catatan.
And
But
subconscious, for example, is like when you drive a car. The first time you drive a car, you're very conscious, right?
yes,
Where's the engine,
because we're learning.
ignition? Yes, because you're learning. Where's the clutch and all that?
Yes.
So over time, you start driving. It's automated.
Yeah,
right?
I can drive while daydreaming.
Exactly, right? And like next thing you know, whoa, I
Right.
reached,
Oh
right?
God, thank God I'm safely here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's how powerful our subconscious mind is.
Oh.
And so there's a study by National Science Foundation back in 2005. So humans have roughly around 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day.
A day.
A day, right?
Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot.
80%, at least 80% roughly are negative.
Oh my God.
95% is repetitive. So if you think of that, right, it's like every day we're doing the same thing. So let me like bring back to those times.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
But our mind is very negative, right? Because it's there to protect us.
Even if you were brought up positively,
exactly,
you would still have that. Iblis though.
Exactly, that's what it is, right? So it's like, so the thing is, people don't have awareness around what they say, what they do on a daily basis, because that gives you a picture of what's deep rooted in your subconscious mind.
If you were to study your brain, you can chat it everything, right?
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
you can
yeah.
see. But because it just comes and goes,
Yeah. But there's a pattern actually. For example, when I was working back then, before I learned about the subconscious mind and all, because 95% is repetitive, right? So what we're saying is every day I wake up around the same time.
Yeah.
Groggy, cranky, and what do you say it? you feel very heavy. Like,
Yeah,
it's
like,
work again. It's gonna be a stressful
okay,
day.
that was your life.
One,
Okay.
there's an intention. It's gonna be a stressful day. So
Oh,
our
yeah.
mind is
You've
programmed
decided
to look for
already.
that. We've decided.
Yeah.
And then you take a shower, you pray, you do,
Yes.
you eat breakfast,
Your
and then you
routine.
go into traffic. Right?
Oh.
You drive traffic.
Yes.
Someone cuts you off.
Yeah.
What happens? You're angry, right? This guy, blah blah
Yes,
blah.
yes, yes.
And then you go to work, you meet the same people, right? That triggers the same emotional buttons
Oh my
every
God.
day. Right?
I get that.
Yeah.
I get what you're meaning.
You go
what
back,
you say.
and then like people gossiping. Your
Yeah.
A is gossiping. You're gossiping with A about B. B is gossiping with you about A.
repetitive.
They're gossiping about you, right? So this is a cycle.
It is.
And you go back to work and you go meet with your friends, hang out at a cafe. I mean, that's what I did lah.
Okay.
Hang out with my friends,
Okay.
talk about work, how stressful it is, talk about how stressful life is,
Yes, yes,
talk
yes.
about how I'm healthy. It's like,
Yeah.
how's your day, Nadia? I'm stressed. I'm even more stressful than you. Like my boss
but
this
lagi
and that.
kau, ni aku,
Yeah, exactly. So
like,
no one's listening. Everyone's like, everything's just automated.
Yeah.
Subconscious where I'm more this, I'm more, aku sakit lutut. The other person's gonna say, lagi dia sakit gout, this and that. So like there's this
Yeah.
competition about who's the most
Yeah.
stressful person in the world.
That's crazy.
Right?
Yes, I remember those days.
Yeah.
I was like that as well, definitely. Definitely. And then I can't hear you because I'm so stressed. It's like,
Exactly.
whatever, girl, who cares? I don't care. Yeah.
And then you go back home, you watch some series or
Yeah, some
whatsoever,
mindless
and
stuff.
like, it's addictive, some
Yeah.
cliffhangers whatsoever. And
I
then
love that.
you sleep at 2 or 3,
Oh, late.
you wake up, you're late for work as usual,
Yeah.
and imagine this. That repeats every day
Yeah.
for the next, anyway, for me, it was like for 5 years or something, right?
Wow, for me, 10 years.
Yeah. And for some
10.
people, until now, right?
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah, I remember distinctively every New Year. Okay, 31st December. Okay, party, celebrate. The strike of midnight, 1st of January, nangis ko. Because I used to look back and think, I've done nothing different. I would literally cry. I remember calling my boyfriend at that time, my husband, my boyfriend at that time. I was like, I was happy for 1 second, then the next moment, I'm like, what's the matter? I'm like, it's like, crash. Crash. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I was feeling a lot.
Again, it comes back to the subconscious limiting talks, I would say, right? Because our mind is programmed to be negative to protect us. So imagine like, those days where our ancestors lived in caves, for example, right?
Okay.
If there was a lion, right? There were signs of a lion, right? So it could be like bushes shaking or whatever.
Some
So
signs,
if we were to be like, positive, it's like, backside, then you would die, right? So the mind has been programmed that, your body is stressing itself so that you could run away.
It kicks in your survival, everything.
Yeah. But the problem now is that tiger is equivalent to your work, to your deadlines, to your bosses, to being judged by others, right?
Right.
So your people are living in chronic stress because
there's so many
is
signs.
Stress.
Yeah,
Stress.
like the bushes shaking everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, oh my
all
God,
the time,
yes,
even when they go to bed, it's shaking. I mean, it's shaking. Yeah, the bushes are shaking technically, right?
Something to be alert about.
Yeah. There's something on. There's a deadline
something
tomorrow.
out there gonna get you.
Yeah.
So from what you do, okay, say, can you share a bit about your company? What you're doing in your company? What's it called?
My personal.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't actually have a company. It's a freelance thing that I do.
Yeah. Did you call it something? Is it?
No, I don't call it something.
What? Why not?
I don't know why.
You don't give yourself a title. Not that.
No, I just basically I call myself a freelance life coach and mindset coach.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you don't have a logo.
I don't have a logo.
Right.
There were plans to.
Okay, sorry, this is off topic, but
didn't materialize, basically.
Are you procrastinating?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Apply yourself to yourself. No.
Sorry? Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, so we're just thinking, how do you see let's say someone like in my position
Okay.
before, working the way you described,
Okay.
how would you help them get out of it? So you
Okay.
can, it's like, what's the first thing? Let's say I come to you. I was a teacher, so and I hated my job, but I could never get out because the main thing on my mind is finance. How am I gonna live? I need the money. I was earning joy, and then and yeah, and obviously there's a lot of concerns. Even when I was single, I thought it's fine. I can just work because after this I'm gonna have fun. Okay, so but it was always, how do I get out of this? There's no solution.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say I want to know what's wrong with me. Why do I
Okay.
stay in this job? And I really don't get why I stayed so long, to be honest with you. So what was,
Okay,
how
so
do you deal? How do
I
you?
think like that's a problem that most people deal with lah.
Mm.
But I used to have this idea that, oh, you're not meant to work in a 9 to 5 job and all that. But I've started to shift my thinking around.
Okay.
It's not about you shouldn't. It's more about what do you want, right?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
if it
yeah.
aligns with you, you do well in it, then it's fine, right?
Yes, yes.
But a lot of people, they're dreading to go to work. They don't want to, and sometimes it's not the work itself, but they say it's it's the colleagues, the environment, right?
Yeah.
So, but again, like our environment it's a reflection of our beliefs.
Oh.
So
right.
the idea that I teach my clients is that, okay, so we have, if you have 95% repetitive habits, right? And so every belief starts with thoughts.
Okay.
They create thoughts, right? So if you have a belief that I'm not good enough,
Yeah.
how would your thoughts be, positive or
Yeah.
negative?
No, it won't.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh, why can't I be like that other person?
Yeah. I always felt like that.
Why can't I be like that
Yeah.
therapist? Yeah. We compare ourselves with other therapists or coaches or out there.
It's so
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
So, and then thoughts and emotions come hand in hand, basically, right? Yeah, if you have, of course, I call them negative thoughts, but I don't believe there's a negative or positive. No, okay, thoughts, they are negative and positive.
Yeah.
Emotions, right? They lead to negative emotions. But emotions, they're not really negative in the sense that you shouldn't feel them, you shouldn't have them, because it's part of our our human experience, can. So emotions are actually signals, right? Like if you're angry, it means a boundary has been crossed.
Yeah.
But how do you act when you're feeling angry? So
the
as
response is what matters.
yeah, what's your response? But a lot of people don't respond; they react.
Yeah.
So how do they react? As a child, you saw your elders, people around you. How are they when they're angry?
Yeah.
What do they do?
Right.
So they shout at you. They can hit you, right?
Yes,
Punish you, lock you in the toilet. These kind of
make
things.
you feel stupid.
Yeah, make you feel stupid, right? Compare you with others and blame you that their unhappiness, their feeling of unworthiness is due to you.
Oh.
It's because of
something
you.
linked there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then when you have these thoughts and emotions, it leads to action, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll take action and you do the same action, 95%, right? You take the same action, it becomes a habit, and a set of habits defines your personality. And your personality creates your reality, basically, right? So there could be one single event, right? Someone saying, because sometimes I say something that I intend to be positive,
but
and then there's going to be two people. One could take it negatively, and the other could take it positively, right?
It just comes differently to everyone, right?
So, for example, if someone said, "Oh, lawa ko hari ni," right? What's the automatic response?
Yeah, right.
Exactly, right?
Oh, whatever, thanks.
Yeah. So, but another person could be like, "Oh, thank you very much." So you can tell from that what belief this person one have. They believe that I'm not worthy.
Oh.
I'm not beautiful,
Mm.
right? Whereas the other one is, I do believe I'm worthy. But it's hard to find the person who says, oh, thank you for the
I had to
compliment.
train, go into training to learn to say thank you.
Yeah.
That's about it,
Yeah.
Like, but no, it's not natural.
People cannot accept compliments because they feel guilty. So they feel guilty.
It's not natural, like not normal to hear it flow like this.
Because as a child, what happened? Right? It comes back. As a child, you try to do so many things to get compliments, but no, as a small child, yes, you did. Oh, he started walking, he started doing this. Such a good boy. Praise. We tend to do things for praise, right?
For praise, yeah.
But it reaches a point where when you start school and everything, why can't you be like the other kids?
Yeah, there's a lot of things in there now.
4 A's, 1 B, why did you get that B? Instead of congratulations, right? It's like well done. Why did you not get 5 A's? So these kind of things happen, and again, it creates a subconscious belief that, okay, I'm not doing enough. I need to do more.
Like, that's me, but it's not enough. Yeah, not enough. Like, need more.
Yeah. So there's a subconscious belief that people have that I'm not good enough. I think I shared with you off podcast, right?
Yeah.
I'm not good enough. I can't have what I want. And I don't belong, as in I'm different than others.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So to come back to your question, right? Like how can someone who feels stuck in a job that they don't love,
hate.
Sometimes it's as strong as hate, right? So that's like the right word.
Miserable.
So it's miserable. You see the way they drag themselves in the car to the office, right? And that used to be me, right? And so number one, I would say, is to build awareness. Because like I mentioned, right, what are the thoughts that you have on a daily basis? If 80% is negative, what are they? What do you say, right? Before you go out, you're already telling yourself a traffic light. You're already setting the intention for it to be traffic. So every thought is a prayer, right? Basically, every thought. So imagine telling people, aku stress, aku aneh, orang tu this. When you pray for others as well, when you gossip about others, you're actually praying for more of it.
Oh yeah. Ada orang, I always hear people say, "Ay, nak berduit."
Exactly. Kapeh kue, right?
Kapeh kue, nak berduit, nak dapat ni. Like, always though, I always hear people say that. And I just cringe because it's like, oh my god, you have no idea what you just done, like,
It can be people earning $5,000
and still feel
and
like
still saying kapeh kue.
Oh, I can't afford that
because they can't afford a
whatever
$100.
Yeah.
And the more people earn, they just spend more. They take more loans, right? So that's why it's because it's a subconscious thing.
Yeah.
So around money in Brunei, people have a subconscious limiting belief around money. Do you know why?
I don't know. Okay.
If I ask you, money is the root of what?
What's
the first thing that comes up in your mind? In your mind.
Money is first thing is what people say. Oh, evil, right?
Okay, so the fact that you said evil, it pops up. It means subconsciously there's an idea in your mind that having money is evil.
I mean, that's because I hear it a lot.
Exactly, and it's been programmed in our culture.
Because that's what people say, right?
Yeah, and that's what you see when, especially as kids, we watch dramas and all that. What's the root of the problems?
Oh yeah, money.
It's money as well. So we have this subconscious belief that having money leads to more problems. Therefore, I don't want money. So what happens is they stay stuck in a job that they don't like, not exploring other avenues. I mean, you can work and still do side jobs, right? But but they don't do it because one, I'm not worthy. Second is money is not. Money is the root of evil or problems. So we just stay stuck there because if I earn money, it means I'm evil, right?
And
or
also
there's
these
gonna be more
days,
problems.
and these days people say, "Payah cari kerja."
Yeah. So there's a lot of victim mindset in Brunei. right? And I used to be that way, where like I can't speak confidently because of my parents, because of the school system. I was always blaming others, macam,
there's always something.
I cannot, my public speaking ni teruk because
Who's gonna listen to
others,
me?
exactly.
I have that. Like,
Yeah.
who am I?
Mhm.
Who am I gonna talk? Oh my god.
Yeah,
Baik
yeah.
terdiam.
Mhm.
Baik shut up saja.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, that's what you did as
Yeah,
well,
and
right?
when you're in meetings,
Oh,
a lot of people
meeting.
have good points in their mind, but
Yeah.
what are people gonna say? I used to just keep quiet. I don't share my
Yeah.
points, and then at the end of the meeting, they're like, "Oh, here's the solution," and it was exactly what you thought of, right? It's because, again, like when you grow up not believing, like as a child, your words mean nothing.
Oh,
Of course, as an adult, it's gonna be the same thing.
yeah.
You're gonna have this idea that people never listen to me.
It won't change unless you make yourself change.
Yeah. So that's why,
And ataupun takes awareness, like you said, like you have to be aware of what's going on, baru you can change.
Yeah. So what are the things you say and think on a daily basis? Because this will give you a clear picture of your subconscious belief. If you procrastinate as well, because I used to procrastinate a lot. When I'm required to call someone, there's in the back of my head is like, I wish they don't pick up, right? Because I'm just so scared to ask people for help because I feel like I'm a burden.
So dari damit you never encouraged to ask for help, maybe?
Yeah. It's very common.
Yeah.
So I think yeah. So because I guess the culture, it comes back to culture. In Brunei, like parents, they don't like to see the children struggle.
Oh.
Right? When these kids struggle, they would cry, and what would happen is parents subconsciously would help them. Would subconsciously help them. You know, like my son is doing a puzzle.
Yeah.
And then he's crying. When people are unaware or uncomfortable with emotion, which is almost everyone. Yeah. So what happens is, I don't want them to cry. I'm going to fix it for them.
Yeah.
So you grow up with your parents doing everything for you.
So they disabled you, basically.
Yeah. I mean, the parents have the best of intentions,
of course,
right? No parents want to hurt their kids intentionally. But again, when they've suppressed the emotion, all the stress, all the anger, everything from work, they bring it back home. Who gets it, right?
Everybody else.
Yeah. So especially the family, like the kids and the wife, or the wife for the husband. So the husband himself will get it from the wife, right? So these kind of things. But the thing is, people don't have the awareness of what they say on a daily basis, what they do on a daily basis. Because I wanted to be successful. I wanted to have a business and all that. I told my friends, I'm gonna do a business, blah blah blah, and I'm gonna leave this place.
Yeah.
But my habits told me otherwise, because I was just going back home, just hanging out in a cafe, talking and
indah menjadi lah.
Yeah, just talking, like complaining. And when you complain without the intent to find a solution, you're just attracting more of it, because
you're just
like
swimming in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So the first step I always tell my clients is awareness. You need to understand. So I would normally ask them to write every time they think of a negative thing or say something negative, write it down on a left hand column. Right? Write it down. Okay. What is, for example, like, siapa jua aku ni? That kind of thing. Who am I to speak my truth?
Like for me, before, if you were to ask me to do that while I was working, I would probably have written, I don't have many skills.
Exactly.
My skills are limited. I'm obsolete. Whatever I've learned is now non-applicable to anything. It's not current anymore. Like, I don't know how to do anything, to be honest. That's what's in my mind. That's why I stayed. That is why I stayed.
Exactly.
I was thinking, I don't know how to work. And I'm just pretending to work here. I used to tell my friends, the students, when I used to say, you know what I really am? They're like, what? I'm an actress. I'm just acting to be your teacher.
Exactly.
Because I didn't feel knowledgeable. Mana kan after graduate, terus kerja, and they expect you to be a teacher. with wisdom. I was 23.
Yeah.
How wise am I at 23? Zero. Yeah, so I was really, I started that way. Yeah.
And it's like supported with these
Yeah.
limited beliefs that I'm
Yeah.
not worthy, who am I, and all that.
And
So
we used to have in-service students, lah.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
they're mature,
Okay,
and they'd
okay.
sit in my class. Follow ko to, macam, shh, I don't know.
Mhm.
They're gonna find out. They're gonna know. They're gonna see right through me.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure they did, but they're just polite students.
Mhm.
That was horrible for me. I would always check, siapa in-service student? Berapa umurnya? You know, as if I care. But I'm like,
Mhm.
oh my God, they're way, way more senior than me. Habis tu ko ni. That's how I felt.
And that's the thing, right? Like we think that they're thinking that way
Yeah,
of us,
as if,
but
right?
they're thinking the same way about themselves. You know?
Aw, like I'm berumur, I'm studying again.
Yeah, yeah,
Cikgu
yeah.
pemuda, oh no, cakap
They might be admiring you. Like,
who
wow,
knows,
like
right?
she's 23 and she's.
Mengajar dia
It's,
sudah.
So that's the point. Like,
Yeah,
in the end, it's your story that
Yeah.
creates your reality, right?
I believe that for so many years.
Mhm,
Oh my
mhm.
God, completely different.
Mhm.
Imagine every day going to class, kabak-kabak jantung.
Mhm.
Because of this in-service students. Oh my God, so funny. Yeah.
So I feel like it's the same with me because my background is in statistics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But how I dove into coaching was because I procrastinated a lot.
Yeah.
Right? I complained a lot. I could say chronically stressed every
my
day. So the thing was, I was like, okay, there's a problem, right? And I want to solve this. So only when I started understanding about how our human mind works, right, was I able to solve this. Because every year it was the same thing. New Year's resolution, I'm going to be more confident, I'm going to be healthy, I'm going to be this or this. Give me 1 month, I'll be back in my habits, doing the same thing every day, right?
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, okay, now I understand how. So I'm not perfect now,
Okay.
right? Again, that's part of being human, right? I still have challenges that I'm trying to overcome,
For
that I'm
sure.
overcoming. But I had but if I compare myself now and before I understood how the brain works, right? My life has shifted so much that I want to share it with people, and that's why I do what I do, right? But again, if my mind was telling me, "Oh, you only have a statistics background," right? So what would happen? I would just stay where I was and do the same thing.
Stay where you think is
stay stressful.
suitable for you.
Whereas like there was a drive within me, like everywhere I went, right? Okay, so one of my mentors, right? He said, if you want to find something passionate you can do while helping people, right? While making a living, go somewhere to a cafe whatsoever, right?
Okay.
Sit down quietly, don't talk, don't say anything, just listen, observe around you. Right? So I went to Roasted Sip that time. I sat down. Everywhere was around me was talking about how stressful they were at work, their relationships with their parents, their relationship, sharing, living with other people in around their home, talking about how sick they are, how unhealthy they are, how stressful they are.
Oh.
Everyone is talking about that. So you see, like what I would have done before was I would have done the same thing.
For sure.
I was in the same bubble, but again, all these problems are around you for you to observe and see if there's a problem, there's a solution, right? And if there's a solution, there's a market, right?
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong about wanting to help people while receiving income from it, right? Because a lot of people are like, oh, look, they're charging $1,000 for this. They just want it for the money. It's because a lot of people see money, people wanting money as a bad thing. Right?
I had a real big problem with that as well, charging for my services. Because I'm a makeup artist as well. Dulu payah aku macam, should I just do it for free? I have that habit, doing things for free because it's not worth it. Kesian But now I'm like, oh my God, I must be stupid or something. Yeah, I must be crazy.
Not stupid.
Not
Yeah.
stupid, sorry. I heard that. But yeah, I get what what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So there's this subconscious idea
Mhm.
that people have that wanting money is expensive. Because
Yeah.
if you can't afford it, find something that you can afford
Uh,
it then. But people have been wired to just complain about
yeah.
things, right? So this is where like awareness is important. When you complain, catch yourself doing it,
Yeah.
right? So like I mentioned, write down everything that
Mhm.
is limiting,
Yeah.
everything that is limiting,
Negative.
negative, right?
Yes.
And then on the right side, write what you want, right?
Okay.
What is it? So if you're saying kapeh kue, or you realize it, okay,
Okay.
what I want money and having money. So again, like when you say in Brunei, oh, I love money.
Yeah.
What are people punya reaction, right? When they hear that,
Yeah.
gila duit ya ni, right?
Oh.
Right? But I've, I've, so like I mentioned, right? When I left my job,
Mhm.
I was struggling financially, right?
Okay.
And we live in an age where you need money to live,
Of course.
right? You need money. It's just because we have this subconscious belief that money will lead to problems, money will lead to corruption, money, and it's
Mm.
all deep programmed in our mind
Yes.
since we watch TVs and we looked at, I think, our culture as well,
Yeah. Yeah.
like how people talk about
Yeah.
money
Passing
and also
statements.
relatives,
Yeah.
there could be, you see your parents and your relatives arguing
Mm.
about money,
Yeah.
people having, like maybe some parents would say to their child, oh, like, careful with money,
Yeah. Yeah. Money doesn't grow on trees. I've
money
heard that
doesn't grow on
before.
trees.
Do
So
you
that's
think
why,
money grows on trees?
yeah, that's why people work so hard. I mean,
Mm.
not so hard, too hard,
Too hard.
right?
Yeah.
They couldn't rest. I had a client
Mm.
who couldn't rest on a Saturday, Sunday. When he rests, he'd feel guilty. So he would need to
Oh
do
my
something,
God.
right? But when we worked on it, it was as a child, when you just lie down, you want to rest
Yes.
for a bit. Why are you lying down?
Oh my God.
Right? So on
Yeah.
a subconscious, he's going to be punished, he's going to be shouted.
Yeah. It's just not acceptable to be
Yeah.
doing that. Yeah. To
Mhm.
be doing
Yeah.
resting.
Yeah. So resting has a negative image,
Yeah.
right? So that's why a lot a lot of a lot of people
Mm.
they cannot rest because
Because it's just not part
that
of their
subconscious
yeah, yeah, yeah.
belief that they're gonna be punished or it
Yeah.
means
It's a
I'm
bad
unworthy,
thing. Yeah.
right? No one wants to believe they're unworthy, but on a subconscious level they
Yeah.
do. So
It's just in there. It's just
yeah, it's
in
there. Yeah,
there.
and all this is reminding you, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
so that's why like after our session he was like, wow, like so we solved that problem, right? After our session.
Okay. Correct.
So he had another problem because he didn't know what to do for his free time.
Yeah, yeah. People
Right?
get that way. Yeah,
Uh-huh,
yeah.
uh-huh.
What do I do then?
Yeah,
Chata?
yeah.
So-
And then feels guilty for playing video games or watching movies that he wants, right?
Wow.
Right. So then, but it takes practice lah. In the end, you slowly, when you catch yourself doing it, you're like, I am allowed to, I am worthy, I am
Yeah.
capable. Because when you rest, it gives you more energy or more
Yeah.
capacity to do
For
to do
sure.
your work, right? So
He must have had burnout.
yeah.
A lot.
And he was like 24 years old. He's like
Wow.
he's very like hardworking lah, basically.
Oh.
And so, but we don't. I do see some of those patterns in the basically in the workplace.
Yeah.
But there's a balance lah. There are some people who's laid back. There are
Okay.
some who work hard. So there's a type of balance lah.
Yeah.
And for someone to be their boss, right? What would you do? You would give more work to the one who's very proactive,
Yeah, of course.
who delivers,
Yung
right?
dapat diharap.
Yeah.
Oh.
But then the other person is like all laid back,
Yeah.
doing nothing, ends up. This person wouldn't know how to say no. The one who does everything doesn't know how to say no.
Yeah.
They will just do
yeah.
everything, but they will complain to
You
someone.
know who you are.
Yeah.
You know?
It will lead to burnout, right?
Banner.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the thing is, this pattern happened when she was a child. I say she because the most common pattern is a she. my clients,
I
it's
believe so
girls.
too.
Yeah. So because men can lie on a couch for the whole day and not feel guilty about it. A lot of men,
Yeah.
right?
And they know they just can't be bothered at that
Yeah.
moment. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. And it would trigger their wives because for the wives, it's like they feel guilty to rest,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's why it triggers them like, why are you just lying down? Like,
Pemalas.
so it happened at the childhood because I do know a lot of
Yeah.
people, macam, let's say they're like 7 years old, they have another sibling, right?
Okay.
They'd be responsible. Right?
Yes.
They're just a child. I mean, this
Yeah.
is very common practice.
For the older
Yeah, for
sibling,
the older
right?
sibling. It's
Yeah.
like kids are supposed to play to develop their mind, to develop themselves, right?
Yeah.
But they're already 7 years old, 5 years old, busy looking after their kids. They don't play much, right? So this pattern carries on. So especially when they have like 5 boy siblings and they're the only girl and like, oh, you have to do everything. You're the one who has to do the dishes. You have to do this. So they've learned, they've developed this idea that I'm responsible for everyone. Right? I cannot say no. They say no, running for
like it's you are it. You're it.
Yeah. You're a girl. You need to act like a girl. That kind of thing, right? And that's why like a lot of feminists, movements are coming up, right? Because of I believe this is like one of the things that is causing that problem because they go to the work culture, it's the same thing that happens to them, right? So so it will just keep happening and it will keep pushing them. Chronic stress leads to illnesses, leads to problems, right? When you stress at work, everyone's putting the burden on you. You go back home, how do you think your relationship is going to be with your husband? Is it going to be all loving and all that? Or are you just...
You're on overdrive.
Yeah. And one small thing that the husband does, like he does 10 good things and one tiny bad thing.
Not even a mistake. It's just whatever, right? And then boom.
Boom, right? Yeah. And then there's tension between them and then the problem. So a problem that you have in one area of your life would normally, it would usually be the same problem that you have in other areas of your life.
Where you have the issue, it's everywhere.
Yeah. You procrastinate at work. You procrastinate for your health. You don't go to the gym. Yeah. So,
because some people say, at work I'm great,
yeah.
but at home I'm not. I don't believe that.
They pretend they're great.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, or I'm great at whatever. Yeah, and then sini mana aku cuma tu. Just not aware of it, perhaps. Yeah. Because you are who you are, and you can't be like totally separate here and separate there. It's even like my husband. Like at work, he will work for. Kali datang ke rumah, he's good. He will want to manage everything. Tapi to the point, ia pun stress wah. So I'll be like, responsible. Ia lagi eldest boy in his family.
Yeah, that's very common.
So it's like doing everything. Then he doesn't realize even the small things he wants to handle. Like, why do you need to do that? Like it's not even your responsibility. Like so it was really funny. I thought that bagus sudah ya responsible, but it's like he is so beat. Jangan datang depan dan relax.
Yeah.
It's good now. It's good now.
So there's I see two types of patterns for men, right? One is the one who's like working hard. Normally these are like the elder ones.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
position itu very common how they behave.
So there's normally the elder ones are the one that they feel responsible for because of the young ones, right? So they feel like if anyone is not happy, it's on me, right? So if my wife is not happy, it's on me as well. My child is not on me. So, and things are like, I need to provide for my family. Like, because I've heard stories of people in that not telling their families until
worse.
It goes worse. And because the man, it's not that the man doesn't want to tell. They feel ashamed because it would mean that I'm not a good father, a good son or good dad, right?
His side of the deal is not fulfilled.
So I think in this culture where a lot of things are done for you. So
Mm.
for me, right, like I feel like I was very privileged.
Okay.
I had a driver, I had a
Okay.
nanny, right? So
Right.
everything was done for me. I remember like my school assignments, like all these things where I need to create a light bulb and all that electricity current,
Okay.
right? So it was done for me. Everything was done for me, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I got married and I had a house,
Okay.
it's like,
Oh my god, it must have been a nightmare.
yeah, because
Apa?
every decision I had to ask my wife. She
Oh.
was playing the role of my mom,
Oh
right?
god. Yeah, yeah.
So and
In
this
the
and
beginning, right?
yeah. I mean, not just in the beginning. I believe like it went
For your
quite a while because it's a subconscious
yeah.
thing, right?
So lagi you were not aware this was happening.
Yeah. Until you're aware, because
Yeah.
for example, oh, I'm the one dealing with the grass cutter, right? Like, oh, the grass cutter wants to cut the grass tomorrow. Is it fine?
Yeah.
But it's like,
Small
why do I even
things.
need to ask, right? So
Yeah.
again, it comes back to our childhood, right? When I say our childhood, it's like everything was controlled. You need to do things when I tell you to do. You ada orang kahwin, you need to go. You don't have a say. You need to go,
Oh.
right? And if you don't, you get punished. So it's been wired that we need to we just need to do what I just need to do what others tell me. So that was one of my that was one of my issues lah. So yeah, I think I've been jumping a lot here and there lah, but this is the reality that we live in lah, basically, right? So if we want to bring it back to your question,
Oh yeah.
right?
Okay.
So one, they feel like they're stuck in their job because, again, one of the things that lead to your reality is your personality, right? And they believe that their worthiness comes from the degree, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my god, you're right.
So
the academic.
for me, it's statistics. So like, who am I to go out there and coach people, right?
Yeah.
That was the question.
Because statistics has nothing to do with all this stuff.
But I can argue, right?
Okay.
I mean, now, like, having looked
now
back,
you
like,
see. Okay.
statistics is why I did statistics. Statistics is analyzing patterns, trends, numbers, right? So I loved analyzing things.
Right.
And as a child,
the occurrence at the can, how
yeah.
often, how okay.
Yeah. So as a child, I always loved analyzing. So me and my twin brother, we would go to the mall and we would analyze people.
Oh my god, you made samples of people.
Yeah, and like talk about like this person is this and that. It's just a subconscious thing that we did, as a child, right? But
almost kind of geeky.
Yeah. But that time, as a lot of people don't know what they're passionate about because they're told that, life is all about going to school, doing this and that. That's it, right?
Yeah.
So again, I didn't know what I wanted. I know what society wanted me to do, which was go to school, get a degree, and I didn't know I did statistics. All I know is I did it because that's what could bring me to UK for a scholarship.
Oh my god, that's same like me.
Exactly, right?
I just chose what's on the list. Like, doesn't look so hard. Like, that looks easy.
So a lot of people go through that, right? And then they go to a job that they're like, okay,
what did
am I
get
gonna do
myself
this?
into?
And people tell you, oh, stress class, you're gonna do this for the next 30 years. And that's when I started questioning, macam, I'm screwed. If things stay like this, I'm screwed. So
I'm just digging a grave.
Yeah. So that's where I started to learn about things.
Find yourself.
Find myself.
Discover who you are.
Building awareness. Right?
Same.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not that
and
weird.
A lot of people are like us in today's world.
But
right? They realize there's something wrong and something needs to change. It's not like, like this has been done for 40 years, we need to do the same thing. Right?
But you can only want to change when you've had enough.
Yeah.
When you've hit your level, like your limit.
Yeah. Most people don't want to change.
Kalau belum hit limit, you're still okay with the stress and this misery. That's why.
Tahan saja lah. That kind of thing until it just piles up. So a lot of people, I would say, like around our age, would
Your age?
okay, my age and above, my age and above would they're used to suppressing. Suppressing. I feel anger, I suppress.
Okay lah, yes, my age as well lah.
Yeah, yeah.
Suppress.
So
Don't focus on you.
but actually the younger generations as well. It's just shown differently. It's just shown differently.
Guess so, yeah.
So but but the younger generations are not yet suppressing them long enough, you know? So imagine so that's why like when you reach a certain age when it's hard to change because for 40, 50 years, you've done the same thing. You've seen the same thing, right? Yeah. So to change it is very hard, right? It's like the neurons of your brain are so much very, the world is not safe, money is bad. That's the truth for you. Never change. And change is very uncomfortable, right?
Of course.
For people. So
of course.
Again, right? Like during our ancestors in their days, right? If there was a change in weather, change in anything, it means there's a threat, right?
Take cover.
Yeah, take cover. So it's the same, like with us now in the
modern world,
because everyone knows change is required. But has there been much change? That's a question that you should ask yourself. Right?
Has there been much change in ourselves or in the country?
Yeah, exactly. Because people say like, there's a lot of say about, there's going to change this, but the outcome people say it's just the same, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So, but again, because you, right? We're busy blaming, not me, like the
people.
past me, right?
Yeah,
like,
yes.
We're busy blaming.
Swimming in our
trash. Like it's because of the government, because of the system, blah, blah, blah. I mean, when I say system, I mean like the education system or because of that, people, the country in the maju and all that, right?
Brunei is so boring. There's no opportunity here.
There's no
I used to say stuff like that, like apa jadi like mana lagi, like it's just nothing here. It's just nothing here.
I just have to stay stuck in my job lah.
You can't create in that kind of thinking. There is no creation because you're just suffering.
And
you're sinking.
And sinking.
You're focusing on the nada. That's what I was, definitely.
So you imagine if 400,000 people around that, right, in Brunei. So say 300,000 people are saying the same thing every day, every second, every minute, right?
Yeah.
How would that manifest? Right?
There is no hope in the world.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I do what I'm doing as well, because I want to educate people, help people realize that there's a different world out there, right? That some people have never seen, where you can feel free, you can feel at peace with yourself, right? I know it because it wasn't just me, my siblings, my friends, my clients, right? Things changed when they started understanding these kind of things, and they start taking power lah, basically. Because when I mentioned, right, like our beliefs create our reality, right?
For sure.
So some people would say, berusaha, because like Tuhan lah yang create reality, right?
Oh yeah,
so,
okay,
but then,
got
like,
it.
I think there's a surah Arad ayat 11 where Allah tidak akan mengubah nasib sebuah kaum, melainkan mereka mengubahnya sendiri. So melainkan mereka mengubahnya sendiri. So we are given the power to change.
You need to do something first.
But because everything has been done for us as a child, like I mentioned, right? Like, menangis sikit kena bagi. So we don't have that emotional resilience, right? As adults. So when you don't have that emotional resilience, you don't know your emotions, so you just numb yourself, and then because you feel unworthy, right? You feel unworthy. The easiest way to make yourself feel worthy is to make others put others down. So that's gossip, right? Gossip used to be a very hard thing for me to. I mean, everyone does that, right? Gossip,
To you, it's just I'm just telling you what I think.
I mean, but at the same time, it's like you feel so good, like my boss ni si anu tu, because they feel unworthy, they feel the need to push others down.
Yeah.
And it's a
Yeah.
subconscious thing that they do. Again, so when you gossip someone, again, don't judge yourself,
Yeah.
but be aware
Just
when you
know
do that.
what's happening.
Yeah.
Negative mind kicking in.
Yeah. So just be aware of it. Because a lot of
Yeah.
people, like, they are, when they learn this, right, they start becoming aware of their negative habits, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, when they do those negative things,
Uh-huh.
they judge themselves,
Oh.
right? So, like, like, I'm still judging people. I'm such a bad person. But so, it's like not judging yourself, but I did judge someone. Okay,
Yeah.
like,
Just apa, catch yourself. You say,
catch
just
yourself and
see it.
and shift to, okay, what do I want actually? And sometimes you have to go deeper, like understand why am I judging
Yeah,
others,
there's a reason for that.
right? Yeah.
Like, okay, let me share with you guys. I wanted to do this podcast, right?
Yeah.
Start this podcast. And then suddenly I start surveying everyone's podcast because that's what you do, trying to see how people do it. But instead of learning, oh, this is good, I start saying, bagus kan kontennya. Like,
exactly, yeah.
"Syok kan, I don't like this one," or this kind of thing. Like, I don't really like this person. Like it just becomes like, are you learning or are you? So I did notice myself, and I'm like, okay, why am I saying this about the speaker? I think also subconsciously, I actually want to be like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what I want to be,
exactly,
Banarnawa. So I'm thinking, instead of me admiring them and getting inspired, for that moment, I was like, whatever, and that tells me, no, actually, you want to be like that,
yeah.
I'm aware. I was like, yeah, okay. They're doing what you want to be doing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is. So instead of saying, okay, this is brilliant, it's more like, I end up saying, yeah, the shy, like the proper.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do understand why I said that, thought that, and that's why now I'm like, you know what, you gotta work on yourself. I gotta work on my own damn podcast. Like, terang sadang judging orang aneh.
But that's very, like, it's a natural thing in a sense.
Yeah, it was auto.
We are competitive, right?
Yes,
By nature, we are competitive. So when you see other podcasts, other people who do the same thing, there's this tendency to like want to put them down so that you feel good about yourself. So I can be like, I can way better than you. It's so crazy, right? Because before I wasn't like this, because before I didn't even have any passion about anything. Yeah. It's common.
But now it's like, I actually want to do really well in what I'm doing, and I know it takes steps to get there. It can instant. So now I don't know if you see my podcast and my IG. I do write I allow mistakes.
Yeah.
I don't mind if I'm making mistakes. Like, it's fine, It's fine.
You need to do mistakes.
Oh, cuma nak kan
because it
perfect
means
ni.
you're stuck if you're not making mistakes, right? You're just doing the same thing.
I know. And there's some comments that my friends used to say. Not used to. Someone said to me, as a feedback pula, they say, kau buat macam si Izzy does it pa. Marah aku, and it's like, kau pikir apa kan aku ni? Like, I don't even have a crew. I just started yesterday. Like, I can't just be like him, Like, apa kan, And I was like, okay, just maybe they mean that's the ideal. Okay, great. I see what you like to see. Okay, great. Ani macam offended terus go. Macam, I can't, not now, like, then that stressed me out for no reason, by the way. But
I wouldn't say it's for no reason. Because so the thing is, okay, so when there's this idea, right? Like, when someone says something that gives that they say something with good intention, right? But what is interpreted? What meaning are we giving to it? So when someone said that to you, what meaning did you give
I
to
was
it?
thinking, he's been doing it for years. I'm new. That's one. And obviously would be good. And I
that would make you?
Yeah, no. No. Yeah, not
so
yet.
It would mean like you're not
the skill letter. Not developed.
So therefore, So I mean,
like, I'm never gonna be that great.
So it's a deep rooted thing. Yeah. Because if someone calls you stupid, right? And sometimes in today's world, it's like they don't have to say you're stupid. They just say something
Something to trigger.
which implies, which we, like my friend might not see it that way, but I'd be like, did you hear that? He was implying I was stupid. And he's like, no.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think now, like, cause parents, like my dad, I feel he used to compare us. And there's a lot of that going on, kan? Dulu-dulu. And he would say things like, macam mana. That's all it takes.
So it's
Macam
the
mana.
same, you see that, right? It's the same environment, or I would say same event, right? Where it was comparison. So
Yeah.
deep rooted in your subconscious mind is comparison.
Yeah.
What did you
But
feel
it's
as a
not
child
fun to be compared.
when you were a child? What did you feel when you were compared to someone else?
Oh, yeah.
What did you feel?
I felt defeated, to be honest. Yeah, I felt like, oh, you know what? like I'm done here. Like,
Can we?
I'm just gonna leave it. Yeah. But I just felt very like I can't reach it.
Yeah.
Defeated lah.
So it's the same thing when they told you about follow easy. It's like, I can't be like that. So it comes back. So there's a subconscious thought, some subconscious action as well that stops you from reaching a level. I mean, I wouldn't say to be like Izzy, because then it wouldn't mean that
then
you're
it's
natural,
not you.
right?
Yeah.
Everyone has that.
He is. Everyone is individual.
Yeah,
like
everyone is unique.
Yeah, unique. Yeah.
So it's more like when you listen to these podcasts, right? So the subconscious tendency, right, especially when we have that feeling of unworthiness, would be like find those 10 things that we don't like about it, right? And you end up not learning about it. Yeah. Whereas imagine if you watch 10 podcasts and for every podcast you just say, I'll find one thing that would help me.
Yeah, something that
right? So,
ideally you want to have in.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Something positive. You can watch a podcast and you're like, oh, it's a good podcast. And someone would say, oh, it's not good, blah, blah, blah. Or it's like someone gets triggered, again, like these keyboard warriors, right? Why are they hiding behind the keyboard?
Yeah.
There's a lack of self-esteem issue there. They feel the need to put others down, right? For trying, for being on air. They feel the need to put others down because they don't feel worthy of themselves. Those people are on air showing their faces. I'm behind the keyboard.
Anonymous.
So on the subconscious level, they feel they're not good enough.
Yeah.
So, but they want to put others down so that they don't feel
exactly. And those are the kind of people that I was afraid to actually even start.
Exactly.
Macam karang kanan ucap whatever. And then I was just sharing with the group and I said, why would I feel this way? Maybe because I do that too.
Exactly. And it's exactly this.
We judge people too. That's why we don't want that to happen to us.
Yeah. Crazy. And the thing is, when you do it to others, it means you do it to yourself. Yeah. So it means you judge yourself.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
so that's the thing. Like the things you say to others or you think about others, when you're aware of that, you can bring that awareness back to you. How do I do it to myself? Right? And so that's why triggers are very important for you to learn about yourself, about what thoughts you have, about essentially what beliefs you have, right? That is limiting, that's holding you back from living the life that you actually want, right?
Because it comes from you.
Yeah, it comes from you.
It just comes up from you.
Because the moment you start, so okay, if we were to go back, right? So one that I would always tell people is awareness. Have awareness of the things that you say, all these beliefs, because only when you have awareness, one, you're developing your mind, right? Because if you do the same thing every day, day in, day out, your mind is no longer growing. It's just shrinking.
Yeah,
and
it's shrinking.
It shrinks. And like I heard some people even relate it to, the cause of dementia and all that, right? Because they're not using their brain much. So it's like, why would you need it? Just keep it small, and then they just lose their memory or anything, right? So, but where you just keep, because when you have that identity, I'm a statistics background degree holder, you stick with that and you just do the same thing every day. You're not growing, and when you don't grow, you feel like you're dead. I mean, that's how I felt back then.
No, definitely.
Dragging myself to work every day.
You're not in your body. That's how I felt.
Yeah, and like Saturday, you're like, okay lah, today is a weekend, right?
Yeah, don't have
But
to be
come
Monday,
Sunday,
yeah,
your
Sunday.
mind is already thinking, oh, Monday
Dreading.
is what you're dreading to do,
I just
right? And it's the same cycle every week
I
in,
know,
week out.
right?
It's like, what can you
Yeah,
do about it, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
what you can do is develop the awareness, right? So prayer develops the awareness.
Sure.
But again, so prayer, meditation, gratitude, these kind of things, you're developing your awareness because, okay, so what happens is when you pray, right? What happens to your mind? Negative thoughts
It does come in
creeping
and
in,
out,
right?
I must say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it keeps creeping in. You want to be khushuk, but it keeps creeping in, right? So you try to brush it off, but it just, yeah, in the end, until you finish praying, you're thinking about the stresses of work, the stresses of life, and all that. So when you pray, so when you pray, or like when I meditate, for example, right? It's like when problems come, you tell your mind, okay, I'm praying now, right? I'm meditating now, and that's what I'm doing now. You're not thinking of problems. So, but so
you want to switch it off.
yeah.
Right?
But then the thing is, the problem is gonna try creep in again, right? So it's a muscle that you need. It's like going to the gym, right? You don't go there and lift 500 kg weight, Tara's So it's the same. Like that problem that thought, negative thought that comes in your mind is a weight. So sometimes you just for 3-5 minutes you don't notice that you're thinking of the problem, right?
Yeah.
So what you want to do is the moment you realize, you say, oh, I'm praying now, I'm more focused, right? So you're telling your mind, you're in control of your mind now. You're not letting your mind control you, right? So then after 1 minute you notice again you're thinking of your problems. You're like, I'm praying now. Okay. So what happens there is you're repping every time you do that. So for example, right, when I drove to work before, right, I really hated people who cut me off traffic, right? So, and I'd hold it for so long. But sometimes, so at the start, right, it would take me like around maybe 20, for example, I'd be like, it would take me like 24 hours for me to realize, oh, I was angry when someone cut me off. I mean, we don't think of it, right? We just used to it, right? So sometimes I think people don't realize that they're angry about it anymore. It's just, I'm just entitled to be angry, and I'm just gonna live my life, and this is how life is.
It's a no-brainer.
Right?
I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah.
Full stop.
You feel resentful, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing. I used to say, oh, kaya lang. So there's a subconscious limiting belief. It's like, I don't want to be rich because rich people are like so arrogant or misogynist or
they
whatsoever.
think they can do whatever they
want.
want.
So so I'm judging rich people, which means subconsciously I don't want to have money, right? And so okay, back to the me driving every day, right? So every day it's gonna trigger something, right? But initially it might take me 24 hours to notice that I was feeling angry, and then next day 10 hours I would notice, tadi I was angry, and then shortens to the point that someone cuts you off. It's like you can finally respond because you're not gonna be like, hey, Krita ni bro. You're like, okay, if I'm angry, what do I get? What really can I do about it? It doesn't. It just drains you, right? Whereas, okay, I mean, and now I'm like, sometimes, okay, go in, right? I don't mind.
I really
and sometimes
don't
we don't. We're just assuming, right? Sometimes they're really in a rush, or maybe there's no way for them to enter from the back. No one's giving them away. So these kind of things. So this is a simple issue, lah, right?
It is,
but
yes.
you can apply it to every issue. When, especially like at work and relationships, right? Relationships, lah. I would say like a lot of things that we regret. Like, I hope I didn't say. I wish I didn't say or didn't do so. But when you have the ability to respond, you'd actually think first. But when you react, you would follow
it just
whatever
emotional
that you've seen as a child, lah. Like as a child, if you see your parents shouting at each other, you do the same thing because that's the only thing you know.
It's auto. Yeah, because these days, how I would probably manage, like, let's say the road thing, I always remember, like, people have good intentions, sebenarnya. They don't mean to be mean,
And so whenever macam there's time we'll be like in the car and then kulit orang ni sekali rupanya ada sana. Macam they don't mean to make you feel anything lah, you know. Just
Again,
like that.
It comes back to it's your story.
But it's like you just want to be dramatic, I guess, like this, because life is full of drama.
It's like, so again, it comes back to it's their fault I'm feeling this way. It's their fault I'm feeling unworthy. And again, I realized this, like when, for example, like kids, right? When they hurt themselves, maybe they hit the table, right?
Yeah.
And parents would say, this table.
So
that on a subconscious level,
someone else make you feel this way.
It's the table's fault, right?
Yeah, that's why you're like this.
Yeah, so the child would say, okay, it's others' fault, I should blame others.
Yeah.
Compared to, also you fell down, what can you learn from it? So then they can develop that idea that
I should be more careful next time.
To be more careful, right? It's not the table's fault.
Keep my eyes open.
So you can apply it to life, right? Where it's like, okay, I'm in this situation now where I'm not confident about speaking and all that. What can I do? Whereas it's their problem, it's their fault, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Until they fix it, I'll be like this. You know, it's like so they want to take away their power, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the norm. That's what they seen as a child. So they feel powerless because that's what they believe they are.
Yeah.
They're still that child that couldn't speak up for themselves, that couldn't take risks, that couldn't just get out.
But then that's the thing. The parents were also unaware.
Yeah, they're unaware.
That's about it. Yeah.
But from my experience and a lot of others, that's the thing. We would say like, oh, if only they changed my boss, whatever, I would be in a better place, right? But the thing, I had a friend who moved from one bank to another, complaining about the boss, right? About the culture. Moved to Australia. 2 months later, texted me saying it was the same stuff. So you can move wherever you want. You can change your environment, but if you don't change your belief, your mind, your brain is going to look for the same thing to trigger you.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, I agree. Totally. I mean, to change your world, it has to change internally, everything.
And you'd be surprised how your outer world would change as well.
Yeah. Exactly, right.
Because you know those times where you're like, for me, like I wanted my family to, you should learn about this, blah blah blah. Okay. It's like so so cool. Follow me, join me, get into it, and they're like, not interested, right?
Right. And so how did you take that?
So I initially, like, you'd feel frustrated, right? Because you really want them to be.
This is good stuff. Why don't you say
join you? Right? They're just not capable, right? I mean, it's just you can't control it. It's beyond your
you can't make them.
Capabilities. You can't make them. But once you let go, you trust that there's a higher power. You can't control them. God can. Allah boleh, right? So that's where you pray, right? Pray without attachment. If you're like, ubah tadurangan ni, like that's where the ego comes in, where you feel like you're better than others. That's what happened to me. Like I felt like I was, above others lah. The ego was very strong. Like, like, I know all this.
They're so
blah,
lost.
Blah, blah. Yeah, they're so lost in life. I can help you. Come to me. It's like it comes from a place of ego now, right? So, but when you let go, like, okay, it's not my place. When someone comes to me, I'll help them, right? So then, next thing you know, they're gonna contact you and say, like, can you tell me more about this? And then you're like, oh, okay, now they're interested, and then they experience the same thing, they go through this more or less the same thing, and they're like, oh. And then now you're talking about it with them, saying, like, life before and life now is so different. I'm so grateful for this change, right? So these kind of things, because you can't change others. So, but when you change yourself, everything changes. So even like work environment, right? Like you might get fired from your job because God wants to give you another job that aligns with what you want. Right? Your boss might be fired and someone might replace him, which everything is beyond your control, but because your prayer was heard, because you took power of your life, right? Then that happened. It aligned with your belief. Because if you have this belief that I'm always bullied, I'm always this and that.
Yeah.
You go to work, you're gonna be bullied. You go home, you're gonna be
Such a-
bullied. It's the same
Because your
thing.
brain looks for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's all it can see, lah. Basically.
Mhm,
Wow. Yes. I mean, I agree.
mhm,
Every
mhm.
single thing.
Anything you disagree?
Yeah. I experience precisely exactly what is. It's taken a lot to make me change how because I can say in the past totally negative. Even when I want it to be positive, it is negative.
Everyone wants to be positive.
Ah.
Every day they tell themselves, okay, I'm gonna be positive
Yeah, like
today.
you want to be happy, blah blah whatever.
Uh-huh.
Tapi mah.
Mhm.
But nowadays I'm like, I mean, where I am today, I feel is a big step from where I was. You know, I never even dreamt of having my own practice.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's a big
It's like jauh. So it's not even in my thinking. But after a while, it's just like, why not?
Mhm.
You know?
Have you celebrated that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I have.
Okay.
I'm very good at celebrating now. I'm really happy. You know what I mean? I feel like it's like the clarity
Mhm.
that comes with being positive at all.
Mhm,
That's what gets you where you want to be.
Yeah.
Just about.
Mhm.
I couldn't do it if I was thinking. Because even when I did the masters for counseling, when in the middle, I was like, no, I can't do this. Who would want to come to me for advice,
Yeah.
for counseling, whatever? I don't even speak Malay properly. You know, like how can I help orang yang want to be coached, counsel in Malay? Tapi lama-lama, it's up to them. You know, if they see it in you, they'll come. Just how you're saying, like you're thinking about all these things, padahal belum je apa-apa. You know, you haven't even done it.
That's the thing. We tend to think from A to Z, right?
Oh.
Whereas it's just a matter of taking step B.
Yeah.
Right? Once you take step B, a few options open.
Yeah.
Take C.
Next challenge.
Next challenge. But because we've been wired to look at point Z, we don't take action.
Yeah. It freaks you out.
Yeah, it freaks you out. Yeah.
I don't think so. Awal dah gitu, don't think so.
Or sometimes people don't procrastinate, but I mean, they think they don't procrastinate, but they actually procrastinate by distracting themselves. Like, and a lot of people, like especially like in counseling, therapy, and coaching, right? It's like maybe I need another certification, and then they do. Yeah. Maybe I need another one. Maybe I need to learn. I'll do a certification on marketing. Maybe I'll do this.
Like me, I think I have to do my PhD like right away.
Right. So sometimes it's just our way of like just distracting ourselves from doing the actual work, which is one person at a time.
I just get on with it.
Because I've had numerous people coming to me from an existing client, right? Yeah. It wasn't from my marketing or whatsoever. It's like someone experienced you. They feel like their life changed.
Yeah. Then next.
And they would recommend someone, right? So again, we think it's all up to us, but when you align your beliefs, you align your thoughts, you pray, you ask for it every day, non-stop, right? God can easily, Allah can easily bukakan hati someone to contact. You know, sometimes you just have that nudge, like I should contact them. Like, okay, I'll just contact lah and see what's it. We experience that, right? Yeah. Like where we just feel this nudge to contact someone, and next thing you know, like they play a big role now, like right. So
and that takes awareness as well. You've got to be in your body to even notice that. You're too worried about negative. Mana je terasa najata. You don't really realize. Oh, that was a sign, rupanya. Yeah. So important. The mind, how we think.
Yeah. And so, okay, going back to awareness, right? So now you have awareness of what you don't want, right? The things that you say negatively or do negatively. These are the things that you don't want. So next is, where do you want to be? What do you want? How? Because everyone wants to be happy. Okay, where do you want to be in 5 years? I don't know. Like, I just want to be happy. Right?
Okay, how about me? You just ask me.
Okay, what do you want?
Me.
Why are you doing what you do?
Okay. No, I'm just kidding. Because I feel I'm good at it. Okay. That's one. So people need this.
Okay.
I needed it. So I believe, yeah.
Okay.
But 5 years time, and this is what I said before in my first podcast. I want to be able to do talks.
Okay.
Which I've never.
Okay.
I never.
Okay. Say you do all that. What would that do to you?
It number one, reach a wider audience.
Mm-hmm.
It would tell me, hey, this is what I feel.
Uh-huh.
I feel like if I am being invited to give
Mm-hmm.
talks to a large audience,
Mm-hmm.
and let's say get paid for it,
Mhm.
and that would say, I mean, like, you're on top of the game. You're one of the best
Mm-hmm.
in
So
your
it comes
country.
back to you feeling worthy about yourself,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's the
Yeah.
right. I mean, I keep thinking this. No, but
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, I think
Worthy, accepted.
yeah,
Like what
acceptance.
you do is, yes, approved.
Approved.
to the-
So we end up doing things to get approval, right?
Yes.
So that's where like there could be misalignment in that sense where sometimes you're pushing yourself too hard.
Mhm.
There's some things like
Judging yourself.
yeah, you
too
judge yourself
much.
too hard because
Mhm.
like, as it is, it's like I'm just not good enough.
Yeah, I'm not
And
there.
if I'm there, it means I'm worthy, right? And
Baru
then you
tahu.
reach there, and it's like
And then
you
something
get
else.
a degree, and like you're gonna be so happy, right? And then you
Yeah.
get your degree, and you're like,
Sama aja.
it's the next thing that there's always
Yeah.
that goal, right? So,
Yeah.
so a lot of us we don't have an idea of what success means to us, What? right? Because it's always chasing the next success,
Oh
right?
yeah.
So because for us, when we reach that, we'll finally feel worthy.
And I feel blah 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 blah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
there's a lot of successful people that you see. I've had the privilege to coach like an executive, someone who reports to the
In Brunei.
CEO of a company, right?
In Brunei?
Somewhere in Brunei.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And
So from outside, it's someone who's like a boss, right?
Like way higher.
Yeah.
Oh.
And from the outside, everyone you see is like, oh, it's so fun to be them. Like they're so lucky.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have
You
everything
think,
sorted,
yeah.
right?
You discover.
But they don't have anyone to talk to about these things
Yeah.
because they have to put up this facade that I'm perfect. I have everything sorted.
I'm
They
a leader.
can't- Yeah, yeah.
I
I'm
got
a
it all
leader.
under control.
Yeah, yeah. The moment I just started talking with that person,
Yeah,
broke
yeah.
down. Just a few words, broke down, right?
Yeah,
Because
there's a lot.
there's a lot that they have to carry.
Yes.
And being a leader, it's like I can't be weak. I can't show a
can't
sign
show
of
it.
weakness, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they think that that would help them, but again, this is the burnout, right? It leads to burnout where like, it affects your relationships and all that. So, which brings me to my point, so what success means to you, right?
Success.
Yeah. So,
not clear what success is. Yeah.
So he was up there, right?
Yeah, already Conan successful.
Yeah, kind of successful. Everyone was looking at him as if he's the most successful
He's the
person.
man.
Like, yeah, he's the man. People
Right.
look up to him.
Right.
But deep down, he's not. So it's the same like me and you. People look at me like, they feel
Wow.
like, wow, he left his job.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah, yeah.
maju sangat ni,
Yeah.
so na,
Even me, I see you like, wow, so
Yeah.
brave.
But-
so brave.
But they don't know what I went through,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, but it wasn't all rainbows, guys. Honestly, and I'm not ashamed because a lot of people feel shame to admit that.
Yeah,
right?
that it was hard.
Yeah. So in the end, it's like, what is success to you? So they think getting a secure job or getting a job, whatever, is success. They go there, they get it, they earn lots of money. They still feel the same because it comes back to feeling unworthy. They think once they achieve that, they're gonna feel worthy.
Yeah.
But it's actually like you need to feel worthy to start doing things that align with you, right?
That's deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's deep.
So
It has to be there already first.
yeah.
Maruta, you'll
Mhm.
feel fulfilled perhaps? Is that it?
Yeah. I mean, you can. Also, you're not gonna feel so present wherever you are, right? I
Yeah.
mean, for me,
There's
I
always a
used to-
chip
yeah.
somewhere.
If I was maybe top 100 inspiring person in Brunei, then I'd feel so worthy,
Then I'm
right?
like, yes,
Yeah,
recognized.
but then I don't take any action, waiting for that day to happen, right?
Yeah.
So, that's the thing. because I don't feel I'm worthy to have that, right?
Yeah.
You know, what's the thought that comes up to me when I have that idea? Is like, who am I to, you know, who am I to do that? Who am I to be around the, you know, these kind of people, right?
Don't compare.
Yeah.
That's that.
So I don't
Don't come
belong
close.
there.
Okay,
So,
gotcha.
but it might not be consciously, right? Because consciously I'm like, I want to, you know, I want to. But then on the subconscious, like, you know, who are you, you know? Imagine yourself sitting next to the minister, right? What's the immediate thought that would come up? Like, oh my God, like, would they listen to me? And I mean,
What can I say?
how?
Value.
And that's one of the things that problems we deal in Brunei, which is speaking up to a authority figure, right? I mean, when I say like, when I had a presentation to my, not presentation, when I had to ask for guidance from my boss or, you know, can be higher ranking officials, right? It's like, I had everything planned up, right? You know, planned in my head what I wanted to say. And then when I'm with them, I'm like, hi, like, my name is Sushi and I like to eat Rahim. You get what I mean?
Yeah, muddled.
Right? You're just muddled where you've prepared everything. But because as a child, same thing. You can't speak up your mind. And when you go to work, it's the same thing. And that's why you don't perform at work, right? So, whereas now, alhamdulillah, like, I'm a lot more confident. There's always room for improvement. I won't say that I can speak my mind out as fluently as I wanted to, right? But where I was and where I am now, like, I'm so proud of myself. I'm so happy, right? And so, which brings me to clarity. I mean, not clarity, you know. Once you have awareness, you need to be aware of and have clarity on where you want to be, right?
Yeah.
And when I say where you want to be is, what does success look like for you, right? What would need to happen in your career for it to be a 10 out of 10? For your relationship to be a 10 out of 10? For your health to be a 10 out of 10? How does that look like? People don't have that vision in their mind. They just know that, yeah, if I earn $10,000, I'll be happy. If I get that job promotion, I'll be happy.
Detailed lah.
Yeah. So, because they don't have awareness of it.
Yeah.
They only know what they don't want, right? That's why they always say.
Baik sikit ya say $10,000 kalau nya kaya.
Yeah,
It's so broad. It's
so
like,
I want kaya. What is kaya to you?
yeah, I just
Kaya
want to
for
be,
me and you is so different.
Or even as simple as saying, I just want to be happy. Yeah, okay. Happy.
What is happy to you?
Exactly
right?
what, yeah.
For me, happy is different. You different,
you
right?
happy different, me happy different. Macam tu lah.
Yeah. So it's like everything you say, do, think is a prayer, right? You're praying to be happy, but you don't know what happy is. So how can it be given to you?
Yeah.
Right? So,
or it gets given some form of happiness. You don't see it. It's like, that's not what I want. Malam je happy pandai. That's the thing, yeah.
And I think talking about relationships, for example, right? A lot of people globally, right, think that once they get married, they're going to be happy ever after. And this is because of the programming of all these
they focus on getting
Cinderella
married.
and whatsoever, right? It's like, wow, happy ever after. But they don't show what happens after the wedding, right? Yeah. So I'm not saying that it's not happy. I believe it is happy, right?
But to get to the level, the point where you can actually say, yeah, I'm so happy about married.
Yeah, there's gonna be downs, right? How do you deal with the downs, right? Wow. So, and I've noticed, right, like, I mean, like, divorce is quite common nowadays, right, as well. So, most people, if you like, what I've seen, the pattern is, if their parents divorce, they would divorce as well. Most likely, because they see how their parents argue, right? So that's the only thing that's in their mind, like, oh, when you're angry, you should shout at them, blah, blah, blah. They do the same thing to their spouse, and the spouse does the same thing to them. And again, it comes back, it's a pattern.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
To conclude that, like, clarity, right? So again, like, what is happiness for you? You know, what does it mean for you to be 10 out of 10 in your relationship, right? So, so once you have that clear, right, then you'd be able to wire your mind, because if you don't have clarity, right, your mind is
Busy.
just gonna say,
Uh-huh.
do what you're used to do,
Yeah.
right? So, which is repeat all the negative.
Yeah, because you're just
patterns.
not focused.
Yeah, you're not focused, and your mind has no direction where to go. Happy, happy. Okay, as a child, what does happy mean? Probably like when they're not shouted at,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
that's why you need to be clear on what happy means to you. So
Yeah, sharp.
yeah. So when you do that, you train your mind to find ways to get there. You'll start noticing, you'll pick up on things that would get you there. And because I never used to speak up for myself, people like as a child, schoolmate took $5 from me, right?
Right.
And then he took my wallet first, and then he didn't want to give it to me until after another class. Yeah, he took it open, and I opened it. He gave it back after the class, and then I opened it. It was empty, right? So
Right, little bully.
why couldn't I speak up,
Yeah.
right? It's because who am I to speak up? Where am I to?
Yeah.
It's just common.
This
our
just happens
culture.
to me.
Yeah.
You accept that it happens to
Yeah,
you.
and I don't deserve the best, right? So
Yeah.
then, whereas I could have like spoke up, I could have complained to a teacher, because my dad
could have
always
beat him
told me,
Yeah.
don't let anyone bully you, right?
Mhm.
If anyone bullies you, tell me, right? I never told, because as a child, again, what happens when you tell the truth to your parents?
Some
You get
reaction
into trouble,
happens,
right? So
yeah.
you learn to don't tell them anything. You're just gonna get in danger and in trouble anyways, right? So again, so the human mind is very complex, lah, basically.
sure.
But back to your first question, yes, awareness and have clarity. That's gonna change a lot.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I believe that. No, I definitely, absolutely believe that. That's what I had to go through, to get somewhere past the misery.
Yeah.
Huh?
And yeah, I mean, these kind of like struggles, they're meant to happen for you
Yeah.
to grow, huh? I mean, imagine if I grew up being all perfect, and being a millionaire, being this, achieved everything. It's like, what is there
No
to
susah
life,
at
right?
all.
Yeah.
It's true. That's why I have some client, they go, oh, I wish that never happened. But at the end, if it never happened, you would never have learned,
Yeah, exactly.
something about yourself. But it's like one of those things that you wish you didn't, but then without it, macam mana saja, you would not have gotten this the way you are. Macam tu lah. So yeah. Complex. It's like life. Life is complex. Anyway, we are out of time, but this has been really good. I've been
Likewise.
looking for people like yourself who can speak on this, because I feel, okay, this is something else, John.
Okay.
If I were to say it, I always feel like, okay, I sound nuts. I sound nuts.
Okay.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, I get
It's like, but I love hearing it from other people. Then I'm like, yeah, agree, me too. Because at least, okay, it's not just me thinking this way. A lot more. So it's nice to have more people on the same wavelength here, like the past at the. Yeah, because if I were to say, just it's okay to quit your job, find something better, and people will be like, "Gila kali, there's no way."
Yeah.
And then you want to try to share your story, but it's not gonna jive, especially if people close to you, like you said, your family. They won't probably listen because it's like whatever, But other people, like other people, they can stream it better.
Yeah.
For some reason. I don't know.
Definitely.
Yeah, the people you don't even know will listen to you.
Yeah, when your family tells you, it triggers you.
Yeah, it's so odd. I'm like, whatever. Yeah, and then I would feel like nonsense. You see, like, I don't like that. I don't want to hear that. So yeah, this has been really insightful. I'm really happy to speak with you today. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming in. We're here on a Sunday, everybody.
Yeah. We love what we do.
This is normally is not a time to be out and about doing work. But this is not work for me.
It doesn't feel like work.
Yeah,
right?
that's why. You had a client coming there on Sunday, and I was like, maybe I should see someone after I talk to you. Normal life, nada to.
Yeah.
I'd be like, Sunday, no, nobody call me, no one message me.
Because when you don't enjoy what you do, right?
And I even slept late last night because of the, just had a concert, so I forgot I was attending that. And I attended and I slept kind of late. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this morning? Tapi, routine, woke up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on. I am on. Anyway, thanks for coming again.
Thanks for having
Such a
me.
delight hearing everything you've shared. It's everything I always think of as well.
Mm.
And you can help me be more aware, Ja. Like this,
That's why I'm here.
interested to hear
Yeah.
what you have to say about my thing. Anyway, okay, all right, guys. Thanks for joining for this podcast again, and hope to see you in the next one. Okay, bye.
Bye.